we are headed to the Tualatin Valley on this Mayor Monday.
Yeah, the city of Banks in Washington County is a small town filled with beautiful farmlands and is home to the popular Banks-Vernonia State Trail. Joining us live with some updates for her community is Stephanie Jones, the mayor of Banks. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here this morning.
Glad you're with us. Appreciate you taking the time. Okay, let's dive right into it. So two development agreements have been signed in the past 6 months for the city. What is the big deal here? What are we talking about with those development agreements?
Well, once everything happens, because this is step one, but next will be community input, and then the developers or the property owners turn in applications for approval. But if all of these get approved, we will have over 1,000 homes added to Banks in the next 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of development. So what are some of the considerations that come along with that as you look at your community poised to really continue growing?
Well, for our city, the main thing we're looking at is making sure that there's infrastructure. And so that's one of the things that the development agreement lines up. They are going to be providing the roadways, the water structure, also additional parks in each of the areas. So it's going to be a huge change for us. We haven't seen more than about 30 homes go in the last, my goodness, probably 20 years.
Wow.
So it's a huge change for Banks.
Yeah, it's a huge change of pace. And I would imagine part of that is why you also want to focus on the Banks School District and a bond coming up on the May ballot to rebuild the high school. What does that look like right now?
Well, honestly, the high school has needed to be rebuilt for the last probably 10 years. That's the elementary school, and it's also about 20 years old and is looking at needing a new roof as well as an upgrade to their HVAC system. So the thing about our high school is we have people who attend there now whose grandparents come in and say, oh, it hasn't changed a bit. And that's not a plus. So really, we want to make sure that our kids are getting the very best. You know, they deserve the best. And so updating this school that really needs it and being very deliberate in how the rebuild is going to be. They're replacing basically a single story with a two-story.
Gotcha.
And we've got, I say we because I'm a parent, and so my daughter will be going there starting next year, and I'd really like to see her be able to take advantage of these new spaces.
Well, Mayor, I have a question for you on that. You know, we've talked a lot this spring about a lot of school districts facing some tough funding questions.
Yeah, specifically in Jervis.
Right. You're not the only one with a bond on the ballot for May. So what would you say to your constituents who maybe don't have kids who are still in the school system, but why is it important as a community to fund and support some of these school projects?
Well, it sounds corny, but these kids are our future, and we want to give them the best start that we can in order to succeed. And then maybe they will go on, do great things, and decide, hey, I want to return to my community where I grew up and had great experiences so I can continue my family in Banks.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, looking ahead to a little bit later this month, there's a library book sale coming up April 25th. What's in store for the book sale?
Well, I happen to also be the president of the Friends of the Banks Library because small towns, people wear a lot of hats. So we've been sorting books, and we just got a donation of over 300 Harlequin romance. But we also have a ton of Spanish language children's books, plus multiple other boxes of children's books. And our book sale, it's compact, but we get a lot of donations. We also get the discards from our own library. And it's, yeah, you can see that's our general setup is this little full of books.
That's great. That's awesome.
And some great deals, I'm sure, for the book lover in your life. Real quick, Mayor, before we run out of time, you mentioned small towns, people wear a lot of hats. You're also the director for the Northwest Science Expo, the fair director. So tell us about some of the science fairs coming up this season. You've got some kids ready to go do some great stuff.
Yeah, the Northwest Science Expo just happened April 5th. I had about 500 middle and high school students at the Viking Pavilion at PSU. And from that group, we have about 28 high school students who now get to compete at the International Science and Engineering Fair. And that is in LA coming up. We always leave Mother's Day. And so they spend the week competing, and they have the opportunity to win just absolutely fabulous prizes, plus interact with I think there are over 2,000 students now at that event from all over the world. So
Oh.
it's
So
a
cool.
huge, wonderful learning environment.
That is.
Yeah.
That's really, really neat. Well, Mayor, it's been great to catch up and talk with you. And I will say I'm in Banks a decent amount throughout the summer because I stop by Quail Valley Golf Course all the time. It's one of the
Oh,
best
there
bang
you
for your buck
go.
golf courses out there. So if I see you, I'll stop by and say hi.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thanks for being here. Appreciate your time. And to stay up to date on what's happening in cities across the area, you can check out our previous Mayor Monday segments on KOIN.com. Just click on the AM Extra tab.
I love that they're headed to an international science competition.
Yeah, pretty
Some
cool.